We get so sophisticated in our analysis, so intellectual, so left brain conscious, that we forget the physicality and the naturalness of Judaism and of language in general. Remember, like, what I always like to do is bring things down to the letters. And so, they say that there are 3 oaths in Judaism. And remember that the oath is a letter or a sign. And I always say this, that it shares the same word with Arabic and Islam, ayat, and everything. It's a sign. A letter is a sign. And if you're going to learn the language, just learn the letters, you see. And for Hebrew, all you need to know is the aleph. And for Arabic, all you need, and for Islam, all you need to know is the alif, the straight line, the pen. But in what I've been studying now is Pesachim. The Talmudic tract for Pesach, for Passover. Anyway, today I want to talk about the 3 oaths in Judaism. Remember that there are 3 oaths, and you must have 2 of them at all times. In other words, the 3 oaths are the bris, tefillin, and Shabbos. Now, always you have the bris, and then you have tefillin for 6 days of the week, and then Shabbos for the 7th day of the week. And what I want to show is that all this comes out of the letter het. In my very bad diagram here of the letter het, you see. So, actually, I don't know how I forget about that. So, the letter het is comprised of a vav on the right, a zayin on the left, and a hud. They call that hud the hatoteret. It's like a hump of a hunchback. Okay, but that hud, it's like a huppah also, of the vav, which is 6, which is the physical, and then the zayin, which is the 7 and the spiritual. And that zayin is connected to the hump, to the hood. The vav isn't. And this is a very deep secret. Because, let me go through it right now, that tefillin, let us say. Tefillin is made with 7 straps on the left arm. Remember, tefillin is one of the oaths. And you wrap with the right arm, which is the vav, 7 straps of the left arm. That's 7 straps. 7 represents zayin. So this is why the zayin is in the left arm, wrapped by the 6 in the left, and that makes a vav and a zayin. And that's tefillin. And strangely enough, that tefillin connects. More so than the right, because you have tefillin on the left, and that's the side that connects, and that the connection to the hood. Then we have Shabbos as a sign. Remember, the tefillin only does six of those. See? 6 of those days. And then on the 7th day, we have Shabbos. The tefillin is the vav of the het, because we do it 6 days. And then the 7th day is the Zion. And that, again, connects to the hood, which makes it the infinite, 8. So that's how the two of tefillin and Shabbos. Remember, you can only have one of the two. You only need one of the two because you only can't have Shabbos the day you have tefillin. Days you have tefillin. Then comes the bris. And this is the great secret. Because the bris is done on the 8th day. And it takes off the 8th day, it's cut. And that 8th day is cut. We cut the left. We cut the connection. We cut the Zion. We turn the het into a hay. You see? And the bris is the 8th day, which represents the letter het for 8. And it's cut and made into a hay. And that's what's given to Avraham. So it's obvious that the bris, and it is talked about as the bris, it becomes physical, permissible of the physical by cutting the left. And that left is the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Tov is the right, the Yetzer Hara is the left. And so we cut the Yetzer Hara, we abridge it, and it turns into a hay. And so this is a great secret here. Because that is the secret of tefillin, of bris, of turning the het into the hay, of turning the left leg, the Yetzer Hara, and cutting it, and turning it into a permissible, manageable energy. This same energy now comes in Pesach, Passover. Because the word chametz, is het mem zadek. The het is the chametz. See? It's the heat. It's the connection of the left. This is a great secret because it's in the letter het. It's in the left, it's connected to the left of the het, and it's a great potential of the Yetzer Hara. And what do we do for chametz? We cut the leg and turn that het into a hay. And then we transpose it from the beginning of the word to the end of the word, and that's how we get matzah. So het, beginning of the word, then mem zadek, and that transposes into matzah, mem zadek, hay. So it's the same as the bris. The bris has to do with this transformation of the het, of the chametz into matzah. And it's the cutting off of the Yetzer Hara. But the whole idea of chametz is that it's around for 52 weeks a year. It's only not permitted 1 week a year. Because the Yetzer Hara is the energy of man. The left is what connects to the roof. How to use that energy is the real secret. If you let it run rampant over you, no good. You have to become aware of it one day for matzah, a year, 1 day, 1 week a year, where chametz and Yetzer Hara can't be found and displaced. But you are the energy of the Yetzer Hara. That's what makes you man. You see? and woman. So the point is, the energy, that's what makes us human. That's the beauty of it. How to use that left. And that's the real sticker, the Yad Hazak. It's a strength. This is the big thing of Pesach. That we make the permissible where it's not conscious, because that's what we eat, bread and muffins. And for 1 week a year we recognize that we are the Yetzer Hara. That's how we eliminate it and we recognize it. And all this comes from the letter Het, because the letter Het represents the spiritual, the spiritual, not the spirit, the infinite level. It's the Ein Sof. 6 is the physical, 7 the spiritual, and 8 is the infinite. And that's why the 8th day, like Shemini Atzeret, the 8th day of closing, and the 8th day for the bris. It's the infinite level, beyond the 7 of the spiritual, beyond the Shabbos. And this is the potential level. And that's why the Pesakim starts with the word or. Because the gematria of or is 207, which is the same as gematria of Ein Sof. So the Het, as the infinite level, is represented in Ein Sof. And how do you, Ein Sof has 2 dimensions to Ein Sof. Because Ein Sof also has Sitra Achra attached. You have to get involved with the above and the below. And for me, this is all coming out of the above. There's a below. And that below, by the way, has to do with what I call below the gargle, and has to do with what's called the belly brain, the second brain, the gut brain. The lower body is where the bris lies. So understanding the letter Het, that and how the left leg of the letter Het, which is a Zion, is manipulated. And what it's done, transformed. And it's most obvious that cut that has to come, that transformed in the when it's in the bris, because you cut the connection to the left. And that's the fundamental aspect. You actually cut it. Just like the connection of the left leg. And so it's a fundamental aspect of Judaism, and the most important aspect. The bris on the 8th day, when the person isn't intellectual, but he knows something's going on with him. He's just had his animal soul, below the gargle, so to speak, transformed on the 8th day. So there's an effect. These are beautiful things, simple to understand this with what you're doing. Don't get too deep. It's physical, you see. It's letters. The whole thing's in the letters, you see. So this was a little bit about the letter Het and how it's composed, and how the signs, the oaths, are found in the letter Het. And of course they are, because they represent the infinite level. And let us never forget that the first commandment in the Bible, in the Torah, in Genesis, is Priya Varivya. Priya Varivya is a commandment, because that commandment has to do with sexuality and the usage of one's bris. It's not there for exploitation or for fun. Therefore, your transformation. It's not there to spill the seed. In the final analysis, the seed is only used to seed for Priya Varivya, for the continuation of the species. And how one uses that area and understands that from a social point of view and a group point of view. That is Judaism in specifics. In the first commandment, just like in the first letter, in the Aleph. Because what does the Aleph actually look like? Two Yuds and a Vav, two testes and a penis, which is the first commandment. One can actually see this as Netzach, Hod, and Yesod. And so these deep aspects of physicality in the world, of simplicity in the world, and the simplicity of Judaism, and even another thing about, the 14th of Nisan, they call it a Yom Rishon. Sure, it's a Yom Rishon, because it's the Aleph before the Bet in Bereshis. The Bet, which starts the Torah, there's an Aleph before the Bet. And that's a Rishon. There's something that's fundamental before the start. And that's what that's what the true analysis is. To try to find out the fundamentals. That's what the deep reading is and the deconstruction is. To find out the fundamentals of the entire religion. Or is it so sophisticated that only a few can know, and that you have to then go to a rabbi, rather than find these things yourself within your own body, within your own activities? There's so much to say here. Hopefully more to come.